Imagine this for a second. You type a question into your phone, and suddenly, words appear. It feels like magic, or like there's a tiny person living inside your screen, thinking really fast. Maybe you've even wondered, is this thing alive? Or does it actually understand me? Or how does it know so much? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's happening. And I promise it's way simpler than it sounds. No robots thinking, no secret consciousness, just something surprisingly ordinary dressed up in fancy clothes. Think of it like this. ChatGPT is not a brain. It's not a mind. It's a giant kitchen. A huge, well-organized kitchen that only cooks one thing: words. Imagine walking into the biggest kitchen you've ever seen. Counters everywhere, shelves stacked to the ceiling, recipe cards filling entire walls. This kitchen doesn't cook food. It cooks sentences. Every recipe in this kitchen is a pattern of words. Not facts, not thoughts, just patterns. When you type something into ChatGPT, you're basically placing an order, like saying, "Hey kitchen, I'd like a sentence that goes with this." Now, don't worry, this sounds complicated, but stay with me. You already understand this idea without realizing it. Think about how you finish a sentence. If I say, "peanut butter and," your brain already knows what comes next. That's a tiny kitchen in your head. ChatGPT is the same idea, just ridiculously bigger. Here's the key thing to understand early. ChatGPT does not know things the way you do. It doesn't look things up, it doesn't remember facts, it doesn't understand meaning. It just knows which words usually come next. Back to the kitchen. Every recipe card says something like, "If these words are on the plate, the next word is probably this." That's it. That's the whole trick. When ChatGPT was created, it was trained like this. It was shown massive amounts of text. Books, websites, articles, stories, conversations. Not to memorize them, but to notice patterns. Like a chef who never eats the food but watches millions of meals being cooked. It starts noticing things like, oh, when people say once upon a, the next word is often time. Or when someone asks a question, an answer usually sounds like this. So the kitchen slowly fills with recipe cards. Not recipes for pizza or cake, recipes for language patterns. Now here's a really important reset. ChatGPT is not choosing words because they're true. It's choosing words because they fit. Just like a chef following a recipe doesn't ask if you like the dish, they just follow the instructions. Okay, let's slow down and summarize so far. You type words in, that's your order. The kitchen looks at all its recipe cards. It picks the most likely next word, then the next, then the next. One word at a time, very fast. That's how whole paragraphs appear. Now you might be thinking, but it feels like it understands me. Totally fair. That's because the kitchen is really good. Think of a chef who's cooked a million meals. They don't understand hunger, but they're amazing at cooking food that feels right. ChatGPT doesn't understand your feelings, but it's great at producing words that match them. If you sound excited, it cooks excited-sounding sentences. If you sound sad, it cooks softer ones. Not because it feels anything, but because it's seen those patterns before. Now, let's go one layer deeper. Still in the kitchen, still calm. Inside this kitchen are millions of tiny dials. Picture them like knobs on an oven. Each knob slightly changes how likely a word is. One knob might turn up formal, another might turn down silly. During training, the kitchen learned how to adjust these knobs. It learned which settings make sentences sound helpful, or clear, or human. But here's the strange part. No one programmed exact answers. No one told it, when someone asks this, say that. The kitchen figured it out by trial and error. It would cook a sentence, then humans would say, that's bad, or hey, that's pretty good. And the kitchen adjusted its knobs, again and again and again, like a chef learning from feedback. Another quick reset. ChatGPT doesn't store answers. It stores tendencies. Okay, let's talk about memory, because this part freaks people out. ChatGPT does not remember past conversations like a person. It doesn't think about you when you're gone. Think of the kitchen as having a clean counter every time. When the conversation ends, the counter gets wiped. During a conversation, it can look at what's currently on the counter. That's how it stays on topic. But once the kitchen closes, nothing lingers emotionally. No thoughts, no awareness, no curiosity. Just silence. Now let's talk about mistakes. Why does ChatGPT sometimes sound confident but wrong? Easy. The kitchen doesn't know truth. It only knows what sounds like an answer. If you ask it something unclear, it still has to cook something, like a chef who must serve a dish even without ingredients. So it makes the best guess based on patterns. Sometimes that guess is wrong. That's not lying, that's guessing without understanding. Now, don't worry, this doesn't make it dangerous by default. It makes it very ordinary. Think of it like a calculator for words. Amazing at patterns, bad at judgment. Now let's do a really familiar example. Imagine you ask, "Write a birthday message for my friend." The kitchen goes, "Okay, I've seen millions of birthday messages." It grabs patterns like kind opening, happy tone, personal sounding line, warm ending, and it cooks a message. It feels thoughtful, but it didn't think. It followed the recipe. Now, balanced truth time. Let's talk about what this kitchen is great at. It's great at explaining things simply. It's great at brainstorming. It's great at helping you organize thoughts. It's like having a fast assistant who never gets tired. But it's not good at knowing reality by itself. It can reflect bias. It can sound sure when it shouldn't. And sometimes it just confidently plates nonsense. That's why humans are still needed. You're the taste tester. Another reset. ChatGPT is a word kitchen. You're the judge. Now let's talk about why it feels so human. The kitchen was trained on human language, so it mirrors human style. When you talk casually, it cooks casual food. When you talk formally, it switches recipes. It's not adapting emotionally, it's matching patterns. Like talking to an echo that's very good at rearranging sounds. Now, let's touch the scary question. Will this replace people? Deep breath. Probably not in the way movies show. This kitchen can assist. It can speed things up. It can help you think. But it can't want anything. It can't decide goals. It can't care about outcomes. It needs a human to give it direction. Like a stove needs someone to turn it on. Without a prompt, it does nothing. Final reset before we wrap. ChatGPT is not a thinker, not a knower, not a being. It's a massive pattern-following kitchen for language. Now, let's bring it all together. You type words. That's your order. The kitchen looks at patterns it learned from mountains of text. It predicts the next word, again and again. That's how answers appear. No understanding, no awareness, just extremely good guessing. And here's the empowering part. If you understand this, you can use it better than most people. You'll ask clearer questions. You'll check answers. You'll guide the kitchen instead of being impressed by it. And honestly, that makes you smarter, not the tool. So next time someone says, ChatGPT is thinking, you can smile and say, nah, it's just cooking words. And now you can explain it too.